Shalom, shalom. It's your brother Yeshua, Alliance Wealth. I want to say, call halal to Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shah. I want to give all homage to all my elders who's pushing this truth before my time, and all my brothers and sisters in these last days pushing this truth, being bold as a lion. And today I got a little breakdown on the importance of knowing who your forefathers are, your ancestors, and your nationality. Because according to the Bible, the Most High, He created 18 nations. 18 nations on this earth, going back to one man named Adam. And also from those 18 nations, Noah had 3 sons. And from the great flood, those 3 men, Noah's son, produced those 18 nations. So if you want, you're not going to find black, Hispanic, Native American, Caucasian in the Bible. You're not going to find that. You're going to find these names like Israel, Canaanite, Edom, Ishmael, Ammon, Moabites. You're going to find those nationalities in the Bible. So if you want to find out who your forefathers are according to the Bible, according to history, and according to archaeological proof, you have to go in the Bible and find out who your ancestors are in these last days, to see who you are and what judgments or what blessings you're going to get in these last days. So we're going to go to the book of Job. The first book, we'll go to the book of Job. One second, bear with me. The book of Job, chapter 8 and 8, and it reads, "For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers." So the Most High said in these last days, search out who your forefathers are, find out what your nationality are, you know what I'm saying? Because if you want to call yourself black, white, or Hispanic, or all these other things, these are all bywords that was created by society and created by European conquest. All these terms, like for instance, like us calling the so-called black man black, that was invented in 1980 by Jesse Jackson, and all these other nationalities came out when the Portuguese conquered the so-called Hispanic, because they wasn't calling themselves Hispanic. They was just conquered by the Portuguese, and it was brought to Spain. That's why they called themselves Hispanic, property of Spain, Hispanic. So these are bywords and not the true titles with the Most High give to these nations on this earth. So I'm going to read it again. "For I inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers." So we got to find out who your forefathers are according to the Bible. And the next verse we're going to go to is Deuteronomy 32. Because a lot of people in these last days, because of all this confusion of the Edomites, so-called white man, has destroyed and took away and hid so many nationalities and mixed up so much confusion, no one knows who the true nationality is. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 7. "Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy fathers, and he will show thee the elders, and they will tell thee, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, and he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance." So the Lord's people is Israel, and he separated all these nations and gave their lots, and he separated nations. So us nations, we shouldn't be coming together, because the Lord, he separated the nations. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, he separated the sons of Adam. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Like he separated from the accordance of Adam and gave our inheritance to these different nations. But the nation that the Most High is dealing with is Israel, according to the Bible and according to history and archaeological proof. So that's another reason why you need to know what your nationality, because you need to know what your inheritance is, according to what the Most High gave to your forefathers. So next we're going to go to Sirach, out the Apocrypha, chapter 17, verse 17. This is book of Sirach 17 and 17. For in the vision of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's Yahweh portion. See, Israel, the Most High, he the one that freed the Israelites from Egypt. And his name is Yahweh. And he saved the Hebrews from Egypt. So that's his portion. But he had a ruler, a king, or one man that created these 18 nations, one bloodline, going back to Adam, going back to Noah. He had these one men from those men, from Adam to Noah, to regenerate these 18 other nations. Like, because the so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, they come back from a man named Jacob, and Jacob is the grandchild of Abraham, and his father was Isaac, and it goes back to the bloodline of to Adam. So that's the lineage, that's the ancestors of the so-called blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans that our forefathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, according to Bible history, according to archaeological proof, and according to biblical prophecies, that the black, Hispanic, Native Americans are the Israelites are still on this earth to this day, and the so-called white man is the cousin, it would be Esau, so it would be the brother of Jacob, and the so-called Moabites and Ammonites. Those would go back to a man named Lot, because Lot was he left Sodom and Gomorrah and slept with his daughters in the book of Genesis, and regenerated the Chinese, so-called Chinese and Japanese man. And Elam is a man that comes from one of Abraham's seeds who are not Isaac, and or I believe Shept, one of them two, either Shept or it comes from Abraham's seed. And the Africans, so-called African, they come from Cham, or Noah's son. They're Hamitic. So everybody goes back to a bloodline and go back to a forefather and to a seed. So verse Sirach 17 and 17. For in the vision of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion. So the next verse we're going to go to is the book of Tobit. Because a lot of people, like, they don't understand, like, the Most High's only dealing with Israel, and like Yahweh shot the world called Jesus, he's only coming to save Israel, the so-called black, Hispanic, Native American, according to the Bible, according to history, and according to biblical prophecy. And you must find out who your nation is, because all these other nations have did wrong to the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans. So the Most High, when he comes back to send his son to save them and to judge them, you want to know where you line up in these holy scriptures that's coming to pass every day. So that's why it's important when somebody asks you what's your nationality, to know your nationality, if you're a believer in the prophecies of the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? So this is another reason why I'm about to prove in the scriptures why our forefathers asked our brothers to see what tribe you from, or what's your nationality, because how important it was back then, back in the ancient times. The book of Tobit, chapter 5, verse 8. Then he said unto him, I'm reading verse 6. To whom the angel said, I will go with thee, and I know the way well, for I have lodged with our brethren Gable. Then Tobias said unto him, tarry for me till I tell my father. Then he said unto him, go and tarry not. So he went in and said to his father, behold, I have found one which will go with me. Then he said, call him unto me, that I may know of what tribe he is, and whether he be a trusty man to go with thee. So he called him, and he came in, and they saluted one another. Then Tobit said unto him, brother, show me of what tribe and family thou art. To whom he said, do thou seek for a tribe or family, or a hired man to go with thy son? Then Tobit said unto him, I would know, brethren, thy kindred and name. Then he said, I am Azarias, the son of Ananias the great, and of thy brethren. Then Tobit said, thou art welcome, Shalakia. Then Tobit said, thou art welcome, brother. Be not angry with me, because I have inquired to know the tribe and the family, for thou art my brother of an honest and good stock. For I know Ananias and Jothias, son of the great Samias, as we went together to Jerusalem to worship and offer the firstborn and the tenth of the fruits, and they were not seduced with the errors of our brethren. My brother, thou art of a good stock. So that's Tobit asking, Tobit's son asking a man about what stock and what's his nationality, who he was, because the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans only deal with Israel, because in our laws we only deal with our own people in our inheritance in our nations, because we're set apart peculiar people. So Tobiah was asking to see what tribe and who you were. So when we out there asking the people like, what's your nationality? Because our forefathers always asked to see if you was from a good stock, or if we can even deal with you, or if you were a hired servant, you'd be coming from another nation who are not Israel, who Israel people, who the Most High Yahweh, that the world called God, who redeemed out of Israel and made the covenants, who Moses brought the laws to, and who was brought over in America on slave ships and scattered the four corners of the earth as biblical prophecies in Deuteronomy 28. These are the Israelites. So that's why Tobiah was asking the man about what's your nationality, and trying to see if he can deal with him or not, or see what what's his bloodline or his ancestors. So next we're gonna go to prove, because a lot of people believe that it goes like your bloodline go by your mother. A lot of those so-called Jewish men, they say that they're Jews by their mother, but according to the Torah, that's not true. So I'm gonna prove, like, even though to know what your forefathers are, your bloodline, it goes by the seed of your father, because your father's seed what goes into your mother, and that's what the Most High deal with, the seed of the man. So I'm about to prove it. This is the book of Numbers 1:18. And they assembled all the congregations together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward, by their poll. So yeah, so it goes by their fathers. It goes by your forefather, like it goes by your father. So my father was a so-called Negro, and his father was a so-called Negro. So that's the reason, by the spirit and by the curses, that I know that I'm an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people was like, they'll say, oh, didn't Paul talk about genealogy? So I'm going to get there to get to understand what Paul was talking about genealogy, because that's a really deep topic if you got eyes to see and ears to hear, but I'm going to try to elaborate on that real quick. This is the book of Timothy's 1 and 4. Neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies, which ministers questions rather to edify which is in faith. So this is dealing with, like, when people was wondering, like when Yahweh, when he asked and the disciples in the gospel, who do people think I am? People think he was like Jeremiah, Isaiah, all these former prophets. A lot of people, our forefathers, knew of reincarnation, and not reincarnation, regeneration. When the Most High, when you go to the spiritual world, the Most High send your spirit back down into another flesh. So a lot of our forefathers knew that we go up in the spiritual world and come back down. So they was asking to see if this was a former prophet or not. So it's regeneration, not reincarnation. It's regeneration. How we don't come back as like no animals like that. We just in the scriptures that your spirit goes to the Most High and you come back down into a different flesh. So that's what Paul was talking about in the situation. But it goes by your father. It goes by your father. And another verse why it's so important to know what your nationality is in the book of Ezra, chapter 2 and 59. And these were they which went up from Tel Malah to Tel Harsah to Cherub and Adon and Emer, but they could not show their father's house and their seed whether they were of Israel. So these men, they couldn't show that they was Israelites. They couldn't prove by their forefathers they was Israelites. And it goes by according to the Bible, Numbers 1:18, it goes by your forefather. It goes by your dad. So that's why it's so important. And people be like, why is that important to know our nationality? And like we're all and like Yahweh Shah's coming to save everybody. And if you go to the Bible,
If you go to Matthew 15 and, Matthew 15 and 24, it said, but he answered and said, I am not sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So it's really important that you know that your nationality, especially that you're Israelite, because Yahweh is only sent to Israel. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Then you go to Matthew 10 and 5. These 12 Yahweh shall send forth, command them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, into any city or to marriage, and enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Yahweh is coming to save the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Hispanics. And he's coming to put every other nation into slavery according to the Bible. So that's the reason why I wanted to show how it's important to know your nationality, because Yahweh, that the world called God, is going to send these last days to save the Israelites and to put everybody else into captivity. And so another verse, last verse, I'm going to read how important it is to know your nationality. Let me try to see if I can find it. Yeah, but I can bring this out, how important it is. It's Deuteronomy 29:29. The secret things belong unto the Lord our Yahweh, but those things which are revealed belongs unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. So that's why it's important, if you're Israelite, to know your nationality, and also to these other nations know your nationality, because once they find a nationality, they can get ready to go into captivity, into slavery, because he that leads in captivity must go into captivity. He that killed with the sword must be killed with the sword. All these nations who have did all this chaos to the so-called black, Hispanic, Native Americans, the Israelites, will be punished when Yahweh comes, according to the Bible, according to history and biblical prophecy. So this your brother Yeshai, Alliance Wealth. Call halal to Yahweh by Shin Yahweh Barakadah. All homage to my elders who's pushing this truth before my time, and my brothers and sisters who are in this truth in these last days, being bulls and lions. Kwame Yasharala. Shalom.